Have you ever wondered why you wake up exhausted even after 8 hours of sleep? Why some people seem to radiate presence while others drain you within minutes? What if I told you that the answer lies not in your habits, your diet, or even your mindset, but in something far more fundamental that science has known for over a century, yet society has systematically hidden from you? You see, right now, as you're watching this, something extraordinary is happening. You're not just a physical body sitting in front of a screen. You're a dynamic field of energy, constantly broadcasting and receiving frequencies that shape every single aspect of your reality. Einstein proved this when he revealed that everything in the universe, including you, is pure energy vibrating at different frequencies. But here's what they don't want you to understand. If you are energy, then you can learn to control that energy. And once you master your frequency, reality itself has no choice but to respond. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Now think about your morning routine. Has this ever happened to you? Your alarm jolts you awake, and before your feet even touch the floor, your hand reaches for your phone. Notifications flood in, emails demanding responses, news feeding you crisis and conflict, social media pulling you into comparison and anxiety. Within 60 seconds of opening your eyes, you've already leaked more energy than your grandparents lost in an entire day. They woke to sunlight, to silence, to space for their thoughts to breathe. We wake to a digital battleground designed specifically to harvest our attention, our focus, our life force. Carl Jung understood this drain decades before. Smartphones existed. He called it the shadow, the hidden forces operating beneath conscious awareness. Today's energy crisis isn't just about feeling tired. It's about invisible systems extracting your psychic energy while you remain completely unaware it's happening. Your attention has become the most valuable commodity in the world, worth more than gold, more than oil. And if you're not consciously controlling where it flows, someone else is collecting it against your will. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to discover might surprise you. We're going to explore how your consciousness doesn't just observe reality, it actively creates it. How your emotional frequency determines what opportunities you see and what possibilities remain invisible. How the ancient mystics and modern physicists are saying the exact same thing in different languages. And most importantly, how you can reclaim the energetic power you've been unconsciously giving away your entire life. Because here's the truth they won't tell you. You're not powerless, you're not broken, you're not stuck. You're simply operating at a frequency that hasn't been calibrated to your true potential. And the transformation begins with something so simple, so fundamental, that most people overlook it completely: your breath. Right now, notice your breathing. The moment I mentioned it, something shifted, didn't it? You just became aware of something that was happening automatically, seconds ago. You went from unconscious to conscious in an instant. That's the hidden truth about your entire existence. This same switch works for everything. Your emotions, your reactions, your habits, your entire reality runs on autopilot until you bring conscious awareness to it. Jung spent his life studying this journey from unconsciousness to consciousness, what he called individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are rather than who you've been programmed to be. Your breath is the gateway between these two worlds. When stress hits, when anxiety rises, when fear grips you, your body releases a chemical cocktail: cortisol, adrenaline, flooding your system. But here's what changes everything. If you don't feed it with thoughts, if you don't create stories around it, that chemical response completes itself in exactly 90 seconds. 90 seconds. That's all it takes for an emotion to pass through you naturally. but we never let it complete. We think, we analyze, we replay, and suddenly 90 seconds becomes 90 days of carrying the same fear, the same anger, the same pattern. This channel is dedicated to bringing you the frameworks that actually create change, not theories, but tools you can use immediately. If you're ready for more of this depth, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. The technique is deceptively simple. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 6. That longer exhale activates your vagus nerve, the main highway of your parasympathetic nervous system, pulling you out of fight or flight and into clarity. This isn't meditation for the sake of relaxation. This is conscious control over your energetic state. This is you taking back the power you've been giving away without even realizing it. Now, I want to go even deeper into what's actually happening behind the scenes of your perception. Your brain is processing 11 million bits of information every single second. Sounds, sensations, visual data, electromagnetic frequencies. An overwhelming flood of reality pouring in constantly. But here's the revelation that changes everything. Your conscious mind can only handle about 40 to 50 bits per second. That means your brain has to filter out 99.999% of what's actually happening around you. Think about that. You're only experiencing 0.001% of reality. The rest gets deleted, filtered out, never reaches your awareness. So, who decides what gets through? There's a part of your brain called the reticular activating system, and it acts as a programmable filter. It decides what information deserves your attention based on your beliefs, your past experiences, your emotional state, your focus. Ever bought a car and suddenly started seeing that exact model everywhere? The cars were always there. Your RAS just wasn't filtering for them. The moment you decided it mattered, boom, they appeared everywhere. That's not coincidence. That's your brain proving to you that consciousness shapes perceived reality. Jung understood this through his work on complexes, those emotionally charged patterns that operate beneath awareness, determining what you notice and what remains invisible. Your decisions, your opportunities, your entire life trajectory gets filtered through these unconscious patterns. The ancient mystics called this mentalism, the principle that all is mind, that reality bends to consciousness. Modern neuroscience just gave us the mechanism. The RAS is how your thoughts literally program what becomes real for you. This is where the real impact of energy mastery reveals itself. You're not just managing stress or improving focus. You're fundamentally rewiring which version of reality your brain shows you. Write in the comments, "I control my filter," if this is landing for you. Because here's where the journey takes a turn that most people find unsettling at first. Your observation of reality isn't passive. You're not just witnessing what happens around you. You're actively collapsing possibilities into concrete outcomes through the simple act of focused attention. In 1927, quantum physicists stumbled upon something that shattered their understanding of how the universe works. They discovered that subatomic particles don't exist in a definite state until someone observes them. Before observation, particles exist as waves of probability, multiple potential outcomes existing simultaneously. But the moment you look, the moment consciousness enters the equation, all those possibilities collapse into one single reality. Think of a coin spinning in the air. While it spins, it's neither heads nor tails. It's both at once. Your observation is what forces it to choose. Now, you might be thinking this only applies to tiny particles in laboratories, but that's the deception. This operates in every decision you make, every interaction you have, every opportunity that crosses your path. When you walk into a job interview convinced you're underqualified, something invisible but measurable happens. Your body language shifts, your vocal tonality changes, your eye contact weakens, your energy becomes uncertain, tentative, defensive, and the interviewer, without consciously knowing why, picks up on all of this. The probability of rejection increases dramatically, not because you lack skills, but because your consciousness collapsed the wave of possibilities toward that outcome. Jung called this synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences that seem too perfect to be random. He understood that when your internal psychic state aligns with external circumstances, reality bends toward coherence. You're not manifesting through wishful thinking. You're participating in the creation of outcomes through the quality of your consciousness. Every thought, every belief, every emotional state is sending signals that interact with the field of probabilities around you. But there's another layer beneath this that determines which probabilities become available to you in the first place: frequency. Everything in existence vibrates: sound waves, light waves, electromagnetic fields, your thoughts, your emotions. Ancient civilizations understood this instinctively. They tuned their music to 432 Hz, a frequency that resonates with Earth's own electromagnetic heartbeat at 7.83 Hz. When you listen to music at this natural tuning, your nervous system synchronizes with the planet itself. Modern studies show it reduces cortisol, lowers heart rate, creates coherence throughout your entire system. Your emotional state is a frequency. Fear vibrates low and slow, creating density, contraction, tunnel vision. Your RAS filters for threats. When you're in fear, suddenly everything looks dangerous, everyone seems untrustworthy, every decision feels risky. But gratitude, joy, love, these vibrate at higher frequencies, creating expansion, openness, possibility. When you're genuinely grateful, your brain filters for more things to appreciate. Opportunities you would have missed suddenly become visible. People you needed to meet appear in your path. Resources materialize seemingly from nowhere. Jung spoke of the collective unconscious, that deeper realm where all human consciousness connects through shared archetypal patterns. When you shift your frequency, you're not just changing your individual perception, you're altering which archetypal energies you resonate with in that collective field. The transformation isn't just personal, it's transpersonal. You begin attracting circumstances, people, and revelations that match your new vibrational signature. This is the hidden truth behind every major breakthrough, every unexpected success, every moment when life suddenly clicks into place. Drop "I'm raising my frequency" in the comments if you're recognizing your own patterns in this, because the impact of your frequency extends far beyond your individual experience. It literally affects every person you encounter through an invisible biological mechanism most people never learn about. You have specialized neurons in your brain called mirror neurons, and they're constantly scanning the nervous systems of everyone around you. When you interact with someone who's stressed, your mirror neurons fire in patterns that match theirs. Within seconds, without any conscious decision, your breathing speeds up, your shoulders tense, your voice rises. You've just synchronized with their chaos. This is why certain people leave you feeling drained, not because they're stealing your energy mystically, but because your nervous system is working overtime to regulate in the presence of their dysregulation. But here's the revelation that changes the entire dynamic of your relationships. You can consciously choose to lead rather than follow. The next time you're in a tense conversation, try something radical. Lower your volume. Deliberately, slow your speaking pace, relax your jaw and shoulders, take deeper, smoother breaths, watch what happens. Within 30 to 60 seconds, the other person's nervous system begins mirroring yours instead. Their voice softens, their breathing steadies. The tension dissolves, not because you convinced them of anything, but because you changed the energetic field of the interaction. Jung understood this through his work on projection. We constantly project our unconscious patterns onto others, creating feedback loops that reinforce whatever state we're already in. When you become conscious of your own internal state through that journey of individuation he spoke about, you stop being a puppet to other people's emotional weather. You become the anchor point. You hold space for transformation rather than getting pulled into chaos. This is true power, not domination, but coherent presence that naturally elevates everyone in your vicinity. Now, taking this understanding into practical manifestation, most people approach goals completely backwards. They visualize what they want, feel good for a moment, then wonder why nothing changes. That's because manifestation isn't magic. It's applied neuroscience, working with that programmable filter we talked about earlier. Your RAS doesn't care about your intentions. It cares about your focus. It filters for whatever you consistently direct your attention toward, whether that's what you want or what you fear. If you constantly think about debt, your brain filters for bills, for prices, for evidence of lack. If you think about possibility, your brain filters for opportunities, for solutions, for pathways forward. The technique that actually works requires precision. Before sleep, when your conscious mind softens and your unconscious becomes accessible, ask specific solution-focused questions, not vague wishes like, "I want more money," but targeted inquiries like, "What's one way I could create $500 this week that I haven't considered?" Don't try to answer it consciously. Just plant the question and sleep. Your unconscious mind, what Jung called the transcendent function, goes to work while you rest, connecting dots your conscious mind couldn't see, revealing solutions that weren't visible in your normal waking state. Then, the moment you wake, before checking your phone, before engaging with anyone else's agenda, prime your RAS with one simple question. What opportunity could show up today? This programs your filter to scan for openings throughout your entire day. And here's the crucial part. When your newly programmed RAS shows you something, a random conversation, an unexpected email, a spontaneous idea, you must act immediately. This creates a feedback loop. Your brain learns that when it filters for opportunities, you actually respond, so it keeps showing you more. Comment, "I'm reprogramming," if you're starting to see how much control you actually have over your reality. This is where the journey demands something most people aren't willing to face, the uncomfortable recognition that you've been operating inside a system designed to keep you compliant, distracted, and powerless. From the moment you entered school, the programming began. Memorize this, accept that, don't question authority, follow the predetermined path, get good grades, get a stable job, buy things you don't need, retire at 65 if you're lucky. We're taught to seek permission, to wait for a validation, to defer our own knowing to experts and institutions. Sartre called this bad faith, the choice to deny your own freedom, because freedom comes with the weight of responsibility. It's easier to pretend you have no choice than to admit you've been choosing all along. Jung saw this same pattern playing out through what he called the persona, that social mask you wear to fit in, to be acceptable, to avoid rejection. But every time you wear the mask, you move further from your authentic self. You trade truth for comfort, you trade power for approval, and after years of this trade, you forget you ever had a choice. The awakening happens when you start asking different questions, not "how do I succeed within this system," but "why do I believe this system is the only way?" Not "what do they want from me," but "what do I actually want for myself?" The moment you genuinely ask, "who benefits from my compliance?" that's when the veil begins to lift. You start seeing behind the scenes of the narrative you've been fed. You recognize that your attention, your energy, your very consciousness has been monetized, harvested, redirected toward goals that serve everyone except you. This isn't conspiracy thinking. This is pattern recognition. The systems we live within, educational, economic, media, social, aren't neutral. They shape behavior, they filter perception, they manufacture consent, and they do it so subtly that most people defend the very structures limiting them. But once you see it, once that red pill moment hits and you recognize how much of your life has been lived according to someone else's script, you can't unsee it. And that's when real transformation becomes possible. Reclaiming your power starts with radical honesty. Where did you give your sovereignty away? To your career that demands everything and gives back scraps? To relationships where you suppress yourself to keep peace? To beliefs you inherited without ever examining whether they're actually true? Every area where you feel stuck, powerless or frustrated, that's where you traded authenticity for something that felt safer in the moment. But here's the truth behind all of this. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. You can understand every principle we've discussed, nod along with every insight, and still wake up tomorrow living the exact same patterns. Transformation requires structure. It requires a daily practice that reinforces the new neural pathways, the new energetic patterns, the new version of reality you're choosing to inhabit. The shift from unconscious autopilot to conscious creator doesn't happen in one dramatic moment. It happens through consistent micro-decisions that compound over time. Jung understood this. Individuation isn't an event, it's a process. A lifelong practice of bringing light to shadow, of integrating what you've rejected, of becoming whole rather than fragmented. And that practice needs scaffolding. You need morning rituals that set your energetic baseline before the world gets its hooks in you. You need midday resets when the chaos tries to pull you back into reaction. You need evening practices that clear what you've accumulated and program what you want to create while you sleep. Without this structure, you'll drift back to default settings within days, maybe hours. Right, I choose sovereignty if you're ready to stop living someone else's life and start designing your own. So here we are. If you're still with me at this point that tells me something important about you. You're not just casually consuming content, you're genuinely searching for transformation, for tools that actually work, for truth that cuts through the noise. And that matters. This channel exists for people like you, people who are tired of surface-level advice and ready for the real work. People who understand that consciousness isn't just philosophy, it's the most practical skill you can develop. Every video I create here is designed to give you specific, applicable methods for reclaiming your power and redesigning your reality from the inside out. If that resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. Not because I need it, but because you'll want to be here when the next piece of this puzzle drops. And if this conversation landed for you, if something shifted while you were watching, leave a comment saying, "I'm choosing consciousness." It lets me know this work is reaching the right people, and honestly, it helps more people find content like this when the algorithm sees genuine engagement. The like button might seem like a small gesture, but it actually matters. It tells the platform that this message deserves to reach others who are searching for the same answers you were looking for when you clicked on this video. So if this was valuable to you, tap that like. Simple as that. Now there's a video right here that takes what we just covered and shows you exactly how to apply it in real-time situations where most people lose their center. It's the practical companion to everything we just explored. Click on it and continue this journey with me over there. I'll see you in the next one.